Mindfulness is a similar technique which we are all living in a very, very fast-paced world. Something that you've not tried earlier is a win for you. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the podcast Beyond the Peel, your journey to self-transformation. So a while back I did a video talking about two type of people that exist. One are people who are very goal-oriented, like they set goals for themselves, they set timelines for themselves and they are really motivated to achieve them, which is wonderful. The other set of people are people who do not have any specific tangible goals in their life and they just want to take life as it goes. Now, both of them are right. These two buckets of people are just built differently. Now that video got a really good response and I feel a lot of people watching my channel are the ones who fall in the second bucket, which is people who don't have goals in their life and are still happy without it. Now this video specifically is taking that a bit further because I've realized that even for people who don't have goals in their life, they do feel lost a lot of times, like they don't know what is really happening. They feel they don't have control of their life, and there is a trick that they can follow to completely have a control of their life without actually following an action plan, without following a goal plan. So if you're interested in that, if you are in that bucket, do keep watching. Now, first of all, the trick that I'm talking about for people who do not have any goals in life or do not lead their life by intention is called mindfulness. I don't know if you've heard of this term before, but what this is all about is living in the present moment. That is a very, very basic trick, simple yet profound. A lot of things that I talk on this podcast are simple yet profound things, and a lot of times these are the type of things that we ignore. Mindfulness is a similar technique, which means living in the present moment. So even if you are not goal oriented, you are not chasing something, you want to take life as it goes. If in that case also you want to have control of your life, the simple trick is being able to live in the present and enjoy where you are. But we know a lot of this, right? Like this is not something new that I have invented. This is not something that you're hearing for the first time. Despite that, a lot of people struggling with staying in the present instead are always stressed about what is going to happen in future, or are, overthinking about what has happened in the past. So present is completely neglected. So if you are able to practice mindfulness, if you are able to live in the present moment, despite not having goals, you will find yourself having control of your life and enjoying your life in general and basically feeling content and happy at the end of the day. Because as I spoke in the last video as well, whether you have goals or not, it is about you feeling happy and content in your life. And if you are in the second bucket, mindfulness is something that you should definitely practice. Why am I emphasizing specifically on those type of people who do not have goals in life? Because people who have goals in life, when they feel lost, they refer to those goals and milestones and their success stories, which basically is like a North Star to them. Those are the things that they go back to again and again and are able to move their life in the direction that they want to. But in case people do not have goals in their life, where do they go? Like when they are feeling lost, what do they do? So practicing mindfulness is a very, very powerful technique that I'm going to talk about a little bit more today. So mindful living, as I just mentioned, living in the present moment, it is about noticing your thoughts, your actions. It's about noticing everything in depth. Like, we know a lot of animals have a lot of, senses which are very strong. For us humans, we basically shut down our senses a lot of times. Like if you're sitting there, can you tell me what are the different type of things around you? Can you tell me what are different type of things that you smell? Can you tell me what are the different type of textures that you can feel, like touch and feel? You will have to do that to be able to feel that, which means that you are not necessarily enjoying things around you. This not only applies to physical things that you see and that you touch, this applies to your mind in general as well. Like, where are you at the moment in your life? Like, are you staying with your family? If you're staying with your family, like, keep questioning yourself, like, what is it that you're doing? So really keeping a track of your thought process, really keeping a track of how you're feeling at the moment is a game changer, right? So we all know that we live in a world wherein everybody is running behind. Like I recently went to London, and I was, something that I'd seen in movies before then, on those stops when the signal is red for the people driving cars, and all the people who are walking, they can cross the road in London street. Like that was very, very crowded. Maybe the time that I went, I don't know, but when I went there, I saw people were literally like a huge crowd of people rushing towards work. That was around the peak hours in the morning, or could be evening as well, but huge crowd of people just rushing. They were all dressed in like formals, like we could guess that they were going for work. I had before that seen this in movies. I think if we were to relate it in India, I've seen Rajiv Chowk metro station as that, which is too overcrowded. Those peak hours are too overcrowded. We are all living in a very, very fast-paced world. For us to basically sit down and evaluate how we are feeling, just acknowledge our feelings and not having to judge whether this is a right thing or a wrong thing, just sitting by yourself. There is so much power in solitude. I've spoken about this at the beginning of the podcast. I will link that video here as well. But there is immense power in solitude. If at all you can sit with yourself and sit with your thoughts and feelings for a couple of minutes a day and see where you are mentally, not physically, that will really give you that power to control your life. And that is what mindful living is about. That is what mindfulness is all about. Being able to listen to what you're feeling, listen to what things are going in your mind, and without judgment, just consuming that all in. Because in the world that we are living in, it's important to just sit back and relax for a moment, give time to yourself that you need, and just absorb everything. Just see where you are. Because a lot of times, when we go to workplaces, we wake up in the morning. What is our routine? Most of us routine. We wake up in the morning, we prepare food, we commute to office, or if you're working from home, we get dressed, start our work for 8-9 hours, then rest for some time on like scroll social media, watch movies, then prepare food and then eat. I think most of us are doing that only. When is the time that you've given to yourself to just sit there and evaluate how you're feeling and evaluate how your life is really going? So that time, if you can take out for yourself, it will give you so much power, because that's when you will feel okay. That's when you will understand that, okay, this is what is happening in my life and this is where I need to go. So that mindfulness and living in the present moment and taking everything that's happening without judgments is going to be a wonderful thing. I can say that because the routine that I mentioned, I was in a similar routine around 2 years back. There was no time for myself. I was literally just running in a rat race. You've seen that, what is that called? Hamster in a wheel, right? Like they are literally just running, not reaching anywhere. All of our lives is that hamster wheel. The way to come out of that hamster wheel is giving time to yourself. It's not that difficult. It's very, very simple. If you can give even if 5 minutes of your day to yourself to evaluate what is happening in your mind and in your life in general, it will make you feel really good, because you will understand what's happening in my life, as opposed to us feeling like we are being driven. जैसे metro में हम लोग जाते हैं, we are basically pushed inside the gate or pushed out of the gate with the crowd. Like you were just standing there and you are pushed and pulled out of the door. Don't be that. Like you want to be someone who knows what's happening in their life. I'm not saying like set goals for yourself, because I am talking to someone who doesn't have goals in their life, and that is okay. But the least you can do to take control of your life is practice mindfulness, and it is going to do wonders. I can say it because every morning now when I wake up, I give at least 1 hour of my time to myself. Like if my children wake up during that time, I'm really pissed. Like I tell my husband, don't send them down to me in that 1 hour. I want to be really, really alone. So take out that time. You don't need to start with 1 hour. You can start off with 5 minutes, 15 minutes, but take out that time for yourself and it will do wonders. Okay, I'm going to share a couple of tips that you can do to start practicing it, but this is really, really wonderful. That is what mindful living is. That is what mindfulness is. I hope I've done justice to what it means and why it is really important. Now I'm going to talk about why having a life purpose doesn't always require us to set goals, because I'm talking to the set of people who don't have goals in their life. For those people, they might be looking at their peer and peer pressure mein they might be thinking, yaar, I to don't have any goals in my life. Am I doing right or wrong? You are not doing wrong. I can assure that. I am from the other bucket. I'm from the other lot, and I can tell you that you're not doing wrong. It's just that you are built different. So even if you don't have goals in your life, doesn't mean you don't have a life purpose. For people who don't have goals in their life, usually what are we taught since our childhood, or what have we seen other people do, is that you have to climb the corporate ladder, you have to have a car, you have to have children, you have to have a house, and XYZ, lot of expectations put on us. Now when we see people doing that, when we hear our parents telling us that, when we hear our spouses putting that pressure on us, our relatives putting that pressure on us, we feel that those are the goals that I have to achieve. But that is not true. It is not necessary that you're chasing anything, and it's okay if you're not chasing anything. Instead, if you take life as it goes, like whatever is happening in your life on an everyday basis, you cooking a wonderful meal is something that makes you happy. That is very good. Like I've spoken about in my previous video as well, for women specifically, like making sure your house is all good and the way you want it to be, making sure your children are healthy and are becoming human beings is a big task. That is your life purpose. So evaluate what is it that you're doing today that makes you happy from within. That is what is your life purpose. You don't need to challenge yourself to focus on the goals which society has put in you. If you're not naturally inclined towards it, don't force yourself. Like I can speak on behalf of people who have goals. Like I am naturally inclined towards like achieving XYZ in my life, like having those big goals in my life in regards to my career, my health and my family and all of that. I'm naturally inclined towards it, so I enjoy doing it. But if you're not like that, and that is okay, what you can do is find joy in whatever you're doing at the moment and give that your 100%. And you will be able to do that only if you sit by yourself, practice mindfulness and know what is happening in your life and giving your 100% to that one thing that you're doing in life. So having a life purpose doesn't necessarily mean like those big goals I spoke about. Having a life purpose is bringing yourself happiness and contentment from within, and it has nothing to do with those tangible goals that I spoke about, right? So I hope that makes sense. I hope you're not sitting there and judging yourself for comparing yourself to other people who are out there chasing goals, because you're just built different. Make sure whatever you're doing, you are happy doing that, you feel content doing that, right? When you focus on mindfulness, you will see that you can find a life purpose in all those things that you're doing on everyday basis. Those things becomes achievement for you. You cooking a wonderful meal by looking at a YouTube video because that's something that you've not tried earlier is a win for you. You seeing that happiness on your child's face after you have done something for them is a win for you. You have gone that extra mile for your spouse to make them happy. That is a life purpose for you. So life purpose can revolve around any of these things, and you will only be able to realize all of these if you sit by yourself and if you ingrain that thinking within yourself and start mindfulness and seeing how life is treating you. You are driving the life, it's not the other way around. Okay, right? I hope that makes sense. Now, if I have not emphasized enough, there are a lot of benefits of mindful living, right? Like you understand yourself at the deepest level. Like you understand what are you doing over here. It's important to sit with your thoughts. That is the number one and the biggest benefit that you get out of your life. There is less stress and anxiety because you understand what is happening in your life and you understand why it is happening, and you can come up with ways to overcome that. अगर आप अपने साथ बैठ के सोचोगे ही नहीं, you will not be able to get that clarity in your life. So understanding yourself to the deepest level is the major benefit. Then less anxiety, less stress and less surprises along your way can basically improve your mental health. So your overall well-being is basically enhanced if you practice mindfulness and you start to enjoy your life. Now, a couple of tips and tricks that I follow to practice mindfulness. Now, I'm talking to people who don't have goals in their life, but in general, mindfulness, mindful living, it applies to everyone, right? It's important for everyone. The couple of tips and tricks that I follow to practice this is, first, sort of huge thing for a lot of people, was a huge thing for me when I started meditation. As simple as that. What is meditation? Like, you sit down, you shut your mind, or not shut it out completely, but you focus your mind on one thing and one thing only. Usually what happens, even with me, it happens a lot of times when my daily life is going, a lot goes in our mind. Our mind is a mess. Like, you're sitting there, but mind will not stop. Even when you're going to sleep at night, your mind doesn't stop. You think about 1,000 things, this and that, and present and future and past, and everything we'll think. You'll think about what other people did to you, think about what you are doing to them, every damn thing. You'll overthink, basically. What meditation does is, it basically says, sit with yourself for a few minutes, start off with few minutes, and close your eyes and try to shut down your brain. Just imagine if you could shut down your brain for a few minutes and focus on only one thing. Like, that one thing has to be your future. One thing has to be the higher self. So being connected to your higher self, for you, when I say higher self, it could be, if you're religious, it could be God that you follow. If you are not religious, it could be just in general higher powers present in the universe. It could be anything. But basically, the purpose of meditation in order to practice mindfulness is shutting down all the thoughts in your mind for that time period and focusing only on one thing. Like, when we were young, our parents said, right, like, focus only on one thing. That's what I teach my children as well. Don't do this and this and this and this. And it's exactly opposite what we are doing when we are grown up. So practicing that meditation is a game changer. I know it's very difficult to start off with. When I started with it, I was very uncomfortable. I was not able to shut down my brain even for 5 minutes. But now with practice, like, everything starts with practice. You've got to start somewhere. Once you understand what benefit it provides, just sit down for 5 minutes. What will happen? For 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, your brain will not stop. But eventually, after 2 months, you will notice that when you are in that time period, your brain will automatically stop. Everything comes with practice. So meditation is a powerful technique to start mindful living, to practice mindfulness, right? Just focus on yourself. I've seen some guided meditation online. I don't follow it a lot, but that was a really good one to start off with, wherein you close your eyes, you focus on your breath, like inhale, exhale, and then you just sense, like smell, like with your eyes closed, what do you see? With your ears, what do you hear? With your tongue, how does the saliva taste? So whatever senses you have, if you want to extend it, you touch the table or chair, what do you feel? So focus on all of those senses. That is a very good way to, I think, start off with, because then you're not thinking about anything else. You're only thinking about yourself and how your senses operate. So that meditation, spending only a few minutes of your time, can really help, focus and let your brain be shut for some time. That really helps. Tip number 2, mindful eating. I think I need to tell these to my children as well. What happens nowadays is, when we are eating, we don't even know the texture of the food. Not for everyone, obviously. We don't know what texture of food there is. We don't know the taste of the food, especially with kids nowadays. I am guilty of that as well. My kids also eat with TV on or tablet on or whatever. They don't know what they are eating. It's very important that we focus in on present, and if it's like an eating activity, focus on that. And it's like, what mindfulness kya hai? Like, all in all, if you see, whatever I'm saying is all towards one thing. Focus only on one thing. Focus on what is happening now. With meditation, focus on what you're going to think about in next 5 minutes. With mindful eating, focus on what you're eating at the moment. The next one is journaling. Like, we go a step further now in mindfulness. Abhi tak you were just sitting there and thinking. Now you put all of those thoughts in a journal, in a notebook and a pen. It doesn't have to be a fancy journal. I don't use a fancy journal. I do journaling every day, and it's not fancy. It's just a notebook I have stolen from my husband's bag, and a normal pen, and I just write down things in there. I write down things that I am grateful for. So gratitude is a really nice thing to write off with. If you want to start off with, just start off with the type of thoughts that you have. So I usually pair up my meditation with my journaling. So what I do is, which I think you should definitely try as well, for 5 minutes just let your brain be in a relaxed mood. Now, as I said, you could do that senses meditation, or you could like think about anything else. Think about future where you want to reach. It's sort of also visualization technique. Think about that future and focus on that higher power. I do that for 5 minutes. Now I am in that frame of mind, and after that I just freely write on a paper on what are the type of thoughts that I had. What do I want my future to look like? Start off with that. When we start to write off the things on a piece and paper, we basically are making it tangible. With the thoughts, it's that bubble which basically bursts after some time. When you put that on paper, it becomes tangible. So journaling is a very, very powerful tool to get in the present state, practicing mindful living. Now I do want to call out fourth one as a separate thing. You could combine it with journaling, but expressing gratitude is very important. When we are living in present, कुछ भी नहीं आए माइंड में ग्रैटिट्यूड के लिए, जस्ट बी ग्रेटफुल दैट यू वोक अप टुडे मॉर्निंग. Lot of people don't wake up every day, right? Just be grateful of that. Just see things that you're grateful for. Be grateful you have a phone that you're watching this video. Be grateful that there are lots of people teaching you from their experiencing. Be grateful that you have food to eat. Be grateful you have clean air to consume. You have had water today. Be grateful that you are living in a safe environment. Be grateful that you have a family. Lots of things when you start thinking about it, but you need to start thinking about it, right? A lot of people don't do that. Combine that with journaling. It's your wish. If you want to be just grateful in your mind, that's also fine, but I usually combine that with journaling and write all those things that I'm grateful for. It makes me feel happy. So do whatever makes you feel happy and whatever you're comfortable with, okay? And the last tip that I want to call out, which you can follow to practice mindful living, is mindful movement. A lot of times, like I am also guilty of that, we don't focus so much on our body. Like I think walking and running and stretching and yoga and jogging, and basically move your body and make sure that you are moving it with purpose. You understand what benefit it's giving you and how your body feels after moving. Go do 5-minute walk. Even that you might feel a little bit different. So all of these things that I told today, I think these are really important for you to live in present and practice mindful living, practice mindfulness. And I think once you start doing that, you will automatically get clarity into what's happening in your life. You have a goal or not, doesn't matter. Doing this is a game changer. I can say that because I practice it and I have seen wonders. Giving time to yourself is really, really underrated. People who do that know the benefits of it, and it's really something that I would preach till I die, that start doing that if you're not doing it today. I hope this has provided benefit to the viewer who's watching this. Do like and comment and subscribe and hit that bell icon, those standard things that we all YouTubers say. But I hope this has provided you value. I hope you practice all of this, and do let me know via comments below if you're already doing it, and anything that I might have missed, because I am not expert on this topic. I am just sharing what I have learned, and I can pass it on to you. Do let me know via comments below on how your experience of mindfulness has been. Other things that you do has been beneficial. I think whole community can benefit from that if you comment down below. And I'm going to see you all next week with another interesting topic. Bye bye.